get a winter warmer that's going to warm the family up. It's a lamb and barley stew. Barley's a grain that's got a good substitute for your starches like potato, and it helps extend your stew so you can feed a lot more people with a little bit less. So this is one way to do lamb shanks. So everyone knows lamb shanks like this. Now I've got the butcher to cut this down into 4 pieces like this. It does 2 things. It exposes the marrow, and that's really going to richen up your sauce for your casserole. But it also takes this from feeding 1 person to almost 2. So lamb shanks in a stew, it's a wet dish and it's a slow cook. So what we're going to do is we're going to just get our induction up to temperature. Just going to start by adding probably 2 tablespoons, 2.5 tablespoons of olive oil. So we're just going to put all those in there, brown them up. Everyone knows colour's flavour, right? And then once they've got a lot of colour on, a nice amount of colour, we're going to take them off and start on our sauce. Always remember when you're cooking like this, try and season early. Not early and often like they used to say, but just season early so you can get any of your seasonings into the meat and it's not going to be protected by the meat sealing off as you go. So just give it a bit of salt and pepper at the start and that'll really suck it up at the very beginning of your cook, and then you can just adjust it at the end. Just move them around. What's really good about this dish is it's sort of a one-pot wonder. You're cooking in the one thing. So we just want to make sure that all that flavour we cook in there in the bottom, we're not burning it, so we can use it later. We're not making extra dishes. Those shanks are nice and coloured up now. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take them out of the pan, set them aside. So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to take that rough cut veg and cook it off in stages. Always like to cook my onions out first to get them sweating down, just so you can get that nice sweet flavour out of them. Use the fat that's come out of the lamb shanks and just get them moving. Just sweat them down till they're just translucent. All right, those onions are smelling nice and sweet now. Just gonna add that garlic in there. This garlic's gonna cook real quick. So move it fast. Don't let it burn. Add your tomato paste. Get that in there real quick. And then we're gonna hit it with a cup of red wine. All right, and that red wine, on top of adding flavour, is gonna help pull all those nice flavours and colours off the bottom of that pan and incorporate that into the sauce. It's called the glazing. All right, when that red wine's dropped by half, we're gonna put our carrots, celery and leek in. All right, just straight in with those guys. All right, so just get them to move around a little bit. All right, that looks nice. We're just gonna drop our stock on top of that now. So we've got that whole litre of stock in there. We're just gonna put the shanks back in. And then we're just gonna set and forget. Put the lid back on there, bring it up to the boil, and that's gonna tick over for about 2 hours. Don't forget, this is lamb, and nothing pairs better than lamb than rosemary. Let's chuck that in there before you chop the lid on it. Good to go. All right, so it's been about an hour. I'm just gonna add some bay leaves and just check it, make sure it's not catching. Yeah, she's looking real good, guys. So it's gonna take about another hour, and we'll check that, make sure it's softening up, and then we're gonna add the barley. Before I add the barley though, I'm just gonna wash it. Put this in a bowl of water and fill it up. You'll notice the water goes really brown. So you wanna do that 2 or 3 times till it comes off, otherwise it'll taste really earthy and sort of ruin the flavour of your stew. So just make sure you do that before you add the barley, and it's gonna take about ½ hour to cook. So I've had this on for about 3 hours. I put the washed barley in half an hour ago. It's just been ticking over, it's swelled up nice now. We're just ready to add the passata. I topped it up with water probably 3 times in that 3 hours, just about a cup each time, just to keep the moisture in there. I'm just gonna add 3/4 of this bottle of passata, mix it through, and then check the seasoning. Just gonna help round out all those flavors that are in there. It doesn't need much. Just a couple of pinches and a little bit of pepper. We're good to go. Lamb shank, and barley stew. Perfect way to warm up this winter.